Okay, so we were discussing about this continuous wave and frequency modulated radar. Okay, so this is we discussed the equation, the Doppler frequency, how we can represent with the transmitted frequency and the relative motion of the target. So this relative motion either with respect to the observer or with respect to the target. So actually this equation which represents the relative motion or relative velocity in terms of knots. Here it is in the meter per second. So that's why this equation arrives. If we represent the relative velocity in terms of knots. Okay. So that is what here represented. So in terms of knot meter per second they have represented in terms of knots. Okay. So this is the equation if you use relative velocity of the target or observer in terms of knots. Okay. So now coming to the continuous wave radar, how it will going to operate and how we can able to detect the target. So now we have the transmitter which transmit the frequency f naught. Okay, the same frequency f naught it will be sent to the detector for the reference. So this acts as a reference signal. So now it will going to transmit the signal through the antenna. Okay, so whenever the receiver uh, the echo signal received by the antenna, so that received signal echo signal which is the there is a shift in the frequency due to the motion of this target. So that shift in the frequency we can represent it as f naught plus or minus ft. So now with reference to the signal which is transmitted earlier, so now with reference to that, so if you again multiply those with respect to the reference signal, then you can detect the whatever the Doppler frequency which is given by the echo signal. So now that Doppler frequency we have to design the beat frequency amplifier so that this whatever the weak signal which we have detected, the Doppler frequency signal, so that will be amplified and it will give to the indicator. Okay, so now this indicator will be, as we discussed already, plane position indicator. So now we have to amplify this signal and we have to display on the indicator. So now this is a response where you will be having a beat frequency amplifier, because this Doppler frequency, whatever shift in the frequency which is happening from the echo signal or which is coming from the echo signal, which is in the order of the audio frequency range. So even we can display that, and also we can hear what is the frequency variation. So this amplifier which is designed, so and this is the response of that amplifier. Okay, so now as we said, so if the target is in motion with the relative velocity vr, so then we can get the amount of Doppler frequency which is shifted by the amount ft plus or minus ft. So now this plus or minus fd which is shown here, so either it may be the target is moving away from the receiver, or the whatever we have radar receiver, either it is moving away from the receiver or it is approaching to the receiver. So now this plus or minus which is indicating that, so either it is going away or it is approaching. So now some methods are there to find out whether it is moving away or moving near to the radar receiver. Okay, so that difference it is given by plus or minus fd. Okay, so now this received echo signal, so which is received by the antenna, and it is, as we know, this is a heterodyne receiver, and it will be detected by the mixer, and whatever we multiply with respect to reference signal or transmitted signal, will detect it and will note down the what is the Doppler frequency shift. Okay, so now this the purpose of this Doppler amplifier or beat amplifier, it is to eliminate the echoes from the stationary targets. That means, so whatever target it is moving, so even surrounding of that there will be a stationary targets like stone buildings or environment, trees or whatever it is. So those stationary targets should be removed. Okay, so the echo signal which is coming from the stationary targets, it will be fixed, there is no variation in the frequency. So only the moving target will be having the variation in the frequency. So that variation we have to note down with with reference to the transmitted signal, and we need to amplify whichever it is varying. So that will be indicated in the uh, plan position indicator. Okay, so this indicator we can, as I said, so since the Doppler frequency shift it is in the order of the audio frequency range, we can use the earphone to hear the frequency shift what it is happening, and also we can use some other display to display that Doppler frequency. So now this Doppler frequency which will be within the passband of that amplifier, and we can amplify that signal, and we can hear properly using earphones, or we can display the uh, display in the plan position indicator. Okay, so some example if you take with subsonic aircrafts, so this transmitter frequency in the middle range of the micro frequency region, so this will be usually lies in the mid band of the passband of the amplifier. Okay, so now the when coming to the transmitted and received signal, so we need to isolate between the transmitted and received signal, because the single antenna is using here. Okay, so the single antenna is using for transmission as well as the reception. So now we need to isolate between transmitter and receiver, right? So what are all the probabilities, or what are the methods used to isolate between the transmitter and receiver? So we'll see. So as we seen, the single antenna serve the purpose of transmission receiver reception. So this isolation is must. So now how to isolate and exactly how to get the Doppler effect. So that will be achieved with the different methodologies that we have already seen one such kind. We have used the duplexer with the time shift, or we'll use the duplexer to switch the transmitting signal and as well as the receiving signal. So once it is the transmitter is transmitting the signal, the receiver is switched, the receiver is the duplexer will be off for the receiving time, and whenever it is receiving it will be off for the transmitting time. Okay, so that's how we can use the duplexer also, and also we can use that circulator, so that we can give the transmitted signal and received signal to the ports of the circulator, and we can able to get the isolation between transmitter and receiver. So the two important effects, so which uh, gives or which limit the amount of transmitter leakage, because here whenever you use the single antenna there is a leakage from the noise which is transmitted, or transmitter which is generating the noise also will leakage here. So that will affect the received echo signal. So we need to somehow we need to protect the receiver from the transmitter noise, and also whatever, so the echo signal which is received, which is a very weak signal, so we need to amplify that. So before amplifying that we need to suppress this transmitter noise, and also we need to take care of isolation. So that's why, so the maximum amount of power the receiver input circuitry can withstand before the physically it is damaged, and its sensitivity will be reduced. So this transmitter leakage which will leak to the receiver, so that will be uh, generally it will damage the receiver, and also it will reduce the sensitivity. So and also amount of the transmitter noise, and also other instability or whatever microphonic noise, and also the stray pickup, that is whatever echo signal which is picking up the noise. So all this noise should be, so we need to take care before amplifying the signal. We need to filter properly those noise, and we have to amplify the signal whatever received. Okay, so the amount of isolation, so which is required between transmitter and also the receiver, so that will be very much take care in terms of the 50 dB 60 dB isolation is required in order to properly amplify the received echo signal. So now this isolation depends on the transmitter power. So this transmitter power, if it is high in terms of kilowatts or megawatts, then the noise will also, so very much it will be affected by the, so it will affect the receiver. So now this transmitter noise, it will also affect the receiver. So that's why the receiver should be very much rugged, and also it will be very much sensitive. So now this amount of isolation needed in a long range continuous wave radar is more often determined by the noise that accompanies the transmitter leakage signal. So this amount, so whatever the long range continuous wave radar, so which is uh, determined the range which is determined by this long range continuous wave radar. So this will be more noise will be because for the long range radar we need to send the transmitter power more. So by using the transmitter power high power, so this transmitter leakage signal will be so damage the somehow the receiver sensitivity, and also it will cause, so due to high power it will cause or it will damage, the probability of damaging circuitry will be high. Okay. So now with concern to this Doppler radar, so the transmitter noise, so which includes some of the components which is lie within the same frequency of the Doppler frequency. So whatever the noise which is produced by the like microphone, or it may be the pickup signal in the echo signal in the environment. So all those noise which if you take the frequency components of those noise, that may be actually within the Doppler frequency whatever we receive, so it may be lie within that or it may be outside of that also. So whatever frequency components which is lie within the Doppler frequency range, so that we need to take care and we need to remove those. So for that we need to require a very precise narrow band filter which we which eliminates the noise nearby the Doppler frequencies. So now the receiver of a pulse radar is isolated and protected from the damaging effect of the transmitted pulse by duplexer. This duplexer which we have already seen, it will be by time share basis, it will going to transmit and receive the signal. So whenever it is transmitting, it will short circuit the receiver, and whatever the transmission period it will go, and there is no reception which will happen. And other types of isolation we can do is, so we can use hybrid junction, so which will be equally divided, and he can transmit and receive. And also you can use circulator, so whenever you give input to the port 1, it will go to port 2, and whatever you give the input to the port 2, and it will give the, so the output at the port 3. So this is a circulator which we have seen already, right? So if you have the port 1, port 2 and port 3, okay, so whenever you transmit the signal here, okay, so it will go to the only the at the port 2, so the power which will going to transmit. So now we have if you put the transmitter here and if you transmit the power, so the output will go to here and you can put the antenna here. Now whenever you receive the signal, the antenna it will receive. So whenever you receive the signal at port 2, definitely it will go to port 3, it won't go to port 1. That is the property of isolator, okay, sorry, circulator. Okay, so whenever you put the port 1 the power, it will go to 2, and whenever it you if you give the power at 2, and it will go to 3, and whenever you give power at 3, it will go to 1. So like this it is the property of this circulator. So whenever you transmit the signal, so you put the transmitter at 1 and it will go to transmit, and whenever you receive the signal at port 2, again it will go to 3 and connect the receiver here, so that the proper isolation between transmitter and receiver it will happen. So like this we can use the circulator and also the other types of the junction devices, the waveguide devices, and we can isolate properly between transmitter and receiver. And also by using the separate polarization, even if you have the like single transmitter, okay, so if you have single transmitter, so now whenever you transmit the signal, you transmit by separate polarization like horizontal polarization, and whenever you receive, you can receive only vertically polarized wave. So then you can, the isolation we can do between transmitter and reception. Okay, so if you have the two separate polarization for transmitting and receiving, then we can also isolate between the transmitter and received signal. Okay, so we can see here the order of the isolation we can achieve using this hybrid junction or waveguide junctions. So magic T rat race and short slot coupler, so this will give the isolation between transmitter and receiver in terms of 20 to 30 dB. And if you use the turnstile junctions, so which will achieve isolation between 40 to 60 dB. And also you can use orthogonal polarization, as I said, horizontal and vertical. Even you can use the orthogonal polarization LHCP and RHCP, that is right hand circular polarization and left hand circular polarization. So these two types of polarization also you can use for transmitting and receiving. So that will isolate the signals between transmitter and receiver. So this is also very important in receiving the proper echo signal. Okay, so now the important factor which limits the isolation devices is the reflection produced in the transmission line by the antenna, because whenever you transmit through antenna, so there is a power which is the cable which is connected from the transmitting uh, source device and also antenna. In between antenna and source, whatever RF source which you are generating, in between there is a transmission line. So because of mismatch between the free space and also antenna, there is a reflection, and also there is a reflection which is caused due to the RF source under the transmission line. If those are also not matched, so then it will be the reflection will come. So because of those reflections, so again the isolation which will minimize. So if you take the isolation of the antenna and also free space, so if it is not matched properly, the isolation will be limited. So similarly, like source and transmission line, so the isolations of like 80 dB are more possible with the high gain antennas. So if you use the high gain antennas, because the it will having more power and directivity, whatever you have the directivity of the high gain antennas which will be more. So because of that, the isolation can be achieved more. And also when two antennas for one transmission and other reception, so physically separated by some distance, we can achieve more isolation. So that like bistatic kind of thing, bistatic radar. So you can use separate transmitter and separate receiver, so then we can achieve good isolation between the transmitted and received signal. So you can see in the order of 80 dB. So earlier if you use the device kind of thing, it will be very less isolation. And even if you use the orthogonal polarization, some of the signal which will going to leak, like horizontal polarized signal, which will be leaked into the received part, or whatever the signal which is used, some of the portion of the signal which will be used even if you use the orthogonal polarization. So even you can use LHCP and RHCP also. So since it is a the circular polarization is it is in the rotating nature, at least minimum 50% we can receive, but isolation also it will be limited. So now if you use two horn antennas, so which will be having very good gain, so we can achieve isolation up to 70 dB to around 180 120 dB. So by separating two smooth surface covered by a sheet of radar absorbing material. That means, so this, so assume I have not shown here the horn antennas, instead of just two patch antennas I have shown here. So where it is acting as a transmitter and if you acting as a receiver. So just for assumption purpose, so I have shown not horn antennas, two patch antennas. If this is acts as a transmitting and this is acts as a receiving, so now by using this material, assuming this is a radar absorbing material, so now by putting so between transmitter and receiver, then we can achieve very good isolation. So similar kind, if you use horn antennas, two horn antennas, so like this. So if you use two horn antennas, okay, as a transmitter and receiver, so in between if you put radar absorbing material, so this assume it as a radar absorbing material, so then we can get the proper very good isolation. Okay, so like this, so this will transmit and this will receive. So between these two, if you use a radar absorbing material, so then we can get more isolation between transmitter and the receiver. So now additional isolation can be obtained by properly introducing a controlled sample of the transmitted signal directly into the receiver. So now we can sample the continuous wave signal, and also we can, with the time duration also we can transmit the signal and we can achieve the isolation. That is additional 10 or 20 dB or even small amount of isolation we can achieve by using this technique also. So now another technique, so the phase and amplitude of this whatever echo signal so are adjusted to cancel the portion of the transmitted signal that leaks into the receiver. So now whatever the signal which is leaks here into the receiver some portion of the signal, so that we can properly assess the phase and amplitude of that signal which is leaks into the receiver, so that we can cancel by properly so tuning that phase and amplitude of that signal, and we can cancel that also. So by doing that cancellation of that signal by proper phase and amplitude, we can get the isolation, proper isolation. So sometimes what will happen, so this leakage signal which is having comparable to the phase and amplitude of the received echo signal, so then it will results the whatever echo signal which is received, it will be going to cancel. So whatever antenna which will scan and it will give the echo signal, so sometimes the phase and amplitude it will uh, give the destructive interference and it will cancel the signal. That is also sometimes it will happen when with respect to this leakage signal. So now when additional isolation is necessary, so like in the high power continuous wave tracker eliminator, this is one kind of radar. So if you have the high isolation it is necessary, then we can use dynamic canceller. So that the property of dynamic canceller is that to uh, properly assess the phase and amplitude of the leakage signal as well as the echo signal, and it will null the signal where exactly the leakage signal and the noise signal which is coming from echo, so that will be properly it will assess the phase and amplitude of those signals and it will null at the required direction. Okay, and whenever you put the antenna in a particular direction, so with respect to that direction of the received signal, this dynamic canceller, so because the antenna will scan through continuously, so this dynamic canceller which will be continuously taking the echo signal and it will assess the proper phase and amplitude of the required signal and it will null in a particular direction, and only it will give the echo signal with proper frequency shift. So now the transmitted signal is never a pure continuous waveform. So as I said, in order to achieve very good isolation, even you can use the modulated signal with the pulsed waveforms also. So even that will be separate pulsed radar also there. But with modulation with AM and FM, so you can use so the carrier, proper carrier, and you can transmit the waveform. So because of that, there is minute variations will be there with the echo signal which comprises of the sideband components of either AM or FM. Because so whenever you use the modulation techniques, definitely there will be a sidebands with respect to carrier FC plus FM 2FM like that. So in the AM, so and also there is a frequency deviation which is happening in the FM. So those sideband components we need to take care and we need to remove by using a proper filter at the receiver. So now those whatever sideband components which are not there within the Doppler frequency band, there is no problem. So whenever you have lower frequency sidebands like FC plus FM, so immediate after FC, so those sideband components if you mix with the mixer, so that will cancel the carrier and you will get the intermediate signal and also whatever the proper echo message signal FM, uh, that frequency of the message signal. So if that is uh, the sidebands which is lies within the Doppler frequency band, so those we have to remove, and whatever remaining whatever message or Doppler frequency which is achieved, so that will be retained. So proper this whatever sidebands components which are not required and fall within the Doppler frequency band, that will be properly removed by the filter bands. So now normal antenna isolation plus feed through nulling. So by using this delay, that dynamic canceller, so by nulling the signal, usually reduces the AM components below receiver noise in moderate power radars. So by using this antenna as well as this dynamic canceller, so we can reduce the noise component of that AM signal. Okay, so in the moderate power radars. So non FM sidebands are usually significantly greater than EM. So and but decrease with increasing offset from the carrier. So if you go on increasing the offset frequency from the carrier, so then we can even decrease the FM sidebands also. So now by using this circuit, that is active noise degeneration using microwave bridge circuit, so this will be used to extract the FM noise components, and then it will fed back to the transmitter and compare with that transmitted frequency to reduce the original frequency, whatever frequency deviation which is happening. So that deviation will be reduced by using this active noise degeneration, so in the microwave bridge circuit. Okay, so using this circuit we can reduce the FM noise component. So now coming to the intermediate frequency receiver, so here if you have two different antennas for transmitting and receiving, so even with 0 IF we can get the echo signal or Doppler frequency signal properly. So now what is this 0 IF? So whatever you have transmitter signal, and you will be mixed with some IF frequency here itself in the transmitter side. Okay, so this is FIF and this is F0. So now if you mix with this signal, so you will get the frequency component F0 plus FIF and F0 minus FIF. So now we remove this and we'll consider F0 plus IF, and whatever the receiving antenna, so this will receive the echo signal which is with the Doppler frequency F0 plus or minus FD. Okay, so now F0 we know, here also there is a F0 which is there in the transmitter signal. So whenever you mix those, the transmitter side, whatever the filtered, this is filtered one using sideband filter, and you will be having F0 plus IF, and here you will receive F0 plus or minus FD. Then this receive after mixing, so this IF will get cancel each other. So sorry, this F0 transmitted frequency will cancel each other, and it will give FIF plus or minus FD. So this will give directly the IF frequency as well as the Doppler frequency. Now if you pass through this IF amplifier, so then you will give the proper, the only the detect signal, so the Doppler frequency. So even if it is the transmitted signal here it is there, so then by this receiver mixer it will cancel that transmitted signal or reference signal, and it will give the proper, so the Doppler frequency. So now the receiver of this type, so which will be called as homodyne, because there are two different transmitter section and receiving section is there, and two antennas which will be so used, and it is called as 0 IF. So since here mixer it is using, instead of directly low noise amplifier or IF amplifier in general radar block diagram, so that will be called it as 0 IF. So and the function of this local oscillator replaced by the leakage signal from the transmitter. So here you can see the local oscillator which is used to mix the signal, transmitted signal with the IF frequency signal. So that is the whatever leakage happens from the transmitter, so to get the reference signal directly we are giving here, and that the local oscillator, that will be the function which should leakage with respect to the IF frequency and transmitter frequency. So now, so this will be very simpler compared to the conventional radars whatever we have seen. And the intermediate frequency, so the since no IF amplifier or local oscillator is required, so in the uh, more conventional radars, so since there is no IF amplifier or local oscillator required, so this receiver, whatever the intermediate frequency receiver, so here we have IF frequency and IF amplifier. So this uh, exactly which is compared by this whatever we use frequency of IF which is generated by the oscillator. So this will be compared with this amplifier, and it is same as that one. So then we will call it as 0 IF. So then there is no conversion from RF to IF. So directly here use the oscillator which is used by here transmitter side. The same oscillator if you use here, so then you can directly obtain the, so 0 IF, that is there is no required of the transmitted the received signal again down convert, and we cannot use. directly whatever we use at the transmitter side, we can mix that signal and directly we can obtain the shift in the frequency. So that's why there is no, so that will be call it as 0 IF. And the simpler is, so it is something like the uh, synchronous, so whatever at the transmitter side, the same oscillator will be used at the receiver side. The simpler receiver, which is not as a sensitive because of increased noise at the lower intermediate frequencies caused by the flicker effect. So at the lower frequency, due to the noise, so the flicker noise, which will be varied as 1 over f with respect to the frequency. So that flicker noise, so it will be very much at the intermediate frequencies. So because of that, so the sensitivity also matters here. So now the noise power produced by the flicker effect, so as I said, it will vary as 1 by f power a, and where a is approximately unit for, so particular radar if you take, so that will be unity. So now at the lower range, so where the Doppler frequency is usually found, so wherever we detect the Doppler frequencies, so now the detector of this continuous wave receiver can introduce a considerable amount of flicker noise. So because of the lower range of frequencies, so due to the flicker noise, so the continuous wave receiver detect this flicker noise and it will reduce the receiver sensitivity. So now how to overcome this flicker noise? So you can use normal super heterodyne receiver using intermediate frequency, so high enough to render the flicker noise. So you can use the frequency of the received signal instead of the IF frequency which is used here. You can directly use the IF amplifier at the higher frequency and you can use the you can eliminate the flicker noise. So if you don't use the direct RF to IF conversion, then the problem exists here, it is a flicker noise. So if you want to reduce the flicker noise, so then you have to use the RF to IF conversion. So now the improvement in the receiver sensitivity with an intermediate frequency super heterodyne receiver. So this might be as much as 30 dB over the simpler receiver. So this is receiver sensitivity. So you can see here it will be so around 30 dB. So compared to the simple receiver. So now coming to the receiver bandwidth. So this receiver bandwidth, which is very much important because how much bandwidth is required to properly extract the Doppler frequency, that is very important. So if the bandwidth is more than noise components, even if it is the noise components is there, so that will reduce the probability of detection. So that's why this receiver bandwidth is one of the important factor. So the requirement, one of the major requirement is the Doppler frequency amplifier. So in the simple continuous wave radar or the IF amplifier of the sideband super heterodyne is that it should be wide enough to pass the expected range of Doppler frequencies. So whatever frequency range or frequency Doppler frequencies which is uh, detected, so whenever the time duration given with the moving target, whatever it is time duration, with that time duration there will be a different Doppler frequencies over the band. So we need to design such a way that the bandwidth will be detected, so maximum range of the Doppler frequencies. So then only we can properly detect the target where exactly it is moving. So but in most of the practical interest, so the expected range of Doppler frequencies will be much wider than the frequency spectrum of the occupied frequency spectrum occupied by the signal energy. So this is what in most of the cases practically when you transmit the signal and when you receive the echo signal, the range of the Doppler frequencies will be so much wider compared to whatever the signal frequency which is defined. So if the frequency of the Doppler shifted echo signal were known beforehand, so that is not possible actually in the practical scenario. So if it is known, we can actually design proper filter with the whatever shifted Doppler shifted signal, and we can easily get that Doppler frequency by removing the noise. But this is not possible with the practical radars. Even it comprises of many components like system losses, environmental losses, and polarization losses, antenna losses, more losses will be there in the practical system. We cannot able to determine the Doppler frequency or Doppler shifted echo signal before whatever we transmit. So that even with the mathematical model calculation, if you do, so this much be expected Doppler frequency range. So by practical issues it will not be possible. So that's why, so it is most of the cases this is not possible, so to design a filter with known Doppler shifted echo signal. So that's why, so it will not be able to probably eliminate the noise, so by knowing this Doppler shifted echo signal. So if the frequency of the Doppler shifted echo signal were known beforehand, a narrowband filter one just wide enough to reduce the excess noise without eliminating a significant amount of signal energy which is used at the transmitter side. That is what. So whenever you use have, if you have the before transmitting, if you calculated this much Doppler frequency we need at the receiver, so that is not possible due to many factors which is there in the practical scenario. If it is known, we can able to reduce the noise which is not in the frequency band which is known by the Doppler shift. So now several factors which will tend to spread the continuous wave signal energy over a frequency band. So if you have the infinite sine wave which is transmitted, so you will be having the impulse in the frequency spectrum, and if you have a finite duration you will be having the form of the finite duration sine wave. So that in the frequency spectrum you can see here, this is a finite duration and this is infinite duration. So the more nominal situation of an echo signal which is sine wave, so generally we'll use the sine wave for even the normal sending of the signal. So finite duration rather than infinite duration. So if you have finite duration, so even we can get the frequency spectrum with the finite duration, which is the shape which is of the form sine pi into f minus f naught into delta divided by f pi into f minus f naught. So similar like it is not exactly the sync pulse, but it is almost nearer to that. So this is the form of this one, where f and delta are the frequency and duration of the sine wave. So now in many instances the echo is not a pure sine wave of finite duration, but it is fluctuated due to the many factors. So in the fluctuation in the radar cross section of the target, and even target sometimes it will going to accelerate or sometimes it will going to decelerate. Also the antenna scanning fluctuations, so the antenna also it might fastly scan or it might slowly scan, so depending upon the fluctuation in the even circuitry motor everything. So because of that, so the echo signal may not get pure sine wave with finite duration, so which tend to broaden the bandwidth still further, because we need to, so many duration we have to scan, and many instance of time we have to take into consideration all the other factors. So in order to properly detect the echo signal, so we need to widen the bandwidth or we need to broaden the bandwidth, so that is required so at the receiver side. So now if you assume the continuous wave radar with the antenna beam width theta b, so this is having the scanning with the beam width theta b with antenna, and it is scanning at the rate of theta s degree per second. So the time on target which is defined, so this is a factor which is defined given by delta, which is theta by theta b by theta s, that is the beam width by scanning angle. So now if the signal of finite duration and bandwidth of the receiver, so that must be order of the reciprocal of this time on target, that is 1 over delta which is required. So this will be 1 over theta b by theta s, so the reciprocal of time on target, so this will give theta s by theta b. Okay, so this will be 1 over delta, so it is a reciprocal of time on target, so this will give theta s by theta b. So now the spectrum may be further widened. So how again you can the spectrum, so we can get the wider, so if the target cross section fluctuates, as I said here, many fluctuations which will happen, so due to this fluctuation the bandwidth will be widened, so the frequency spectrum it will be wider. So even one of the parameter which is target cross section, if it fluctuates, so then it will be wider frequency spectrum it is required to get the echo signal. And if the target's relative velocity is not constant, so again, as I said, so the target is also moving with acceleration or deceleration. So again, for that also it is required to wide the frequency spectrum of the received signal. And if a is the acceleration of the target with respect to radar, so then the signal will occupy the bandwidth of this much, so that is 2 ar by lambda, so the whole power half. So this is the how we can calculate the bandwidth if the target is in the acceleration of a. Okay, so now if we use the filters, so after this IF amplifier or before the indicator, so even to widen the bandwidth we can use different filter banks, and also we can widen the bandwidth. So these filters will be staggered in frequency, that is each filter will be having some finite bandwidth, and we can uh, connected in this fashion, and so that your frequency bandwidth will be overlapping to widen the complete bandwidth. So this Doppler shifted echo signal is known to lie somewhere within the relatively wide band of frequencies. If you come to know the Doppler shifted echo signal which will be having wide range, so then you can use the bank of narrow band filters. Because why you, instead of we can use a wide band filter, but it will increase the noise probability. So that's why with narrow band filter with reduced noise, so we can cascade these and we can able to get the wide frequency range. So this will permit the measurement of frequency in the wide frequency range, and also it will improve the signal to noise ratio. Because so the filter which will be defined, which will be designed it as a narrow band filter, so maximum noise which will be reduced, and also the signal to noise ratio will be increased. Okay, so this filter banks we can use, and we can able to so improve the signal to noise ratio and widen the frequency range. Okay, okay, so this is about how we can widen the frequency, broaden the bandwidth or frequency range. So some many methods we can adopt to increase the frequency range. So this is one method. So even we can see so other how we can do it. So we'll stop here and we'll discuss some more things and in the next class. Okay, so is there any doubt in this? Hello.